My name is Becky Singleton. I'm a single mom of two fantastic daughters who are super talented. An entrepreneur, a health and fitness coach, and I walk my own talk by working out every day. Motivational speaking, Reiki practitioner healer are some of the things I love to do. I've survived cancer. I'm also an agent of change at the highest level. But what I enjoy the most is cooking for the ones that I love. So join me in leveling up and being more happy, healthy, and fit. Hi everybody, I'm Becky Singleton and you're on Happy, Healthy, and Fit today. We're going to talk about our student athletes and how to help them be more positive, especially when they're being in the middle of their sport. Really encouraging them to have high self-esteem when they're actually performing their sport. I'm going to share with you some things that I've learned through the years and have been passed down to me, and I'm passing them down to my daughter. But before we start, I want us to remember that we continue to social distance. That's the key. Washing our hands for 20 seconds and wearing our masks in public. So I appreciate you. Thank you for joining today. And here we go on Happy, Healthy, and Fit. Hi everybody, I'm Becky Singleton and thank you for joining me today on Happy, Healthy, and Fit. We're going to talk about student athletes, and if your child's not an athlete, you know, this will be encouraging to them also. But the reason why I'm specifically talking about student athletes, because it takes a certain amount of focus to be an athlete. I want to describe what my daughter's day looks like on a typical day for her. On the days that she has to get up to swim in the mornings, she gets up at 4:30 a.m. She swims from 5:30 to 7 o'clock in the morning. She comes home, she showers, she eats, and off she goes to school. She's doing virtual school right now because we know that's what's best for her. And then she practices again in the afternoon. And then she comes home and eats and does homework, and before you know it, she's in the bed. So in order for her to be able to maintain that type of schedule, we often talk as we're going to practice what it's going to take for us to make it through that day. And so it's positive talk. There's times when she's very tired, as you can imagine. But the positive thoughts that we inject in her are important for her as she's developing her brain. So as an athlete, there are things that happen to you that don't happen to just a regular student that does no activity. There's the focus that I mentioned earlier. You know, the ability for her to be dedicated to waking up. As a child at 4:30 in the morning, I don't have to wake her up. She wakes herself up, and I usually hear her stumbling around the kitchen doing her cereal routine. And as I watch her, she gets her bag ready for swim. She gets the things that she needs, and she's thinking about what's important to her. That's where I know she's building her own personal self-esteem. The other thing about, I'm using my daughter as an example, but I know one of the things that makes her feel successful is that when she does perform in competitions, she does extremely well. And so that builds her self-esteem up. And then we encourage her to honor what she did, because it was all those mornings, waking up at 4:30 in the morning and going back in the afternoon, that brought her success. And what does that look like inside her? How does she feel? So we often say, so tell me how you feel when you are doing this and you did well. How does it feel when you didn't do as well as you wanted to do? We don't put ourselves down. We have to lift ourselves back up. So we try to reverse whatever negative thoughts could come into her mind if she didn't do as well in a competition as she would normally do. So that's very important that you start to instill in your children the positive thinking and self-talk. It's a self-talk because we're not always around them. We're not always there to inject them with good self-esteem. And hopefully they're in a home that's encouraging. But the sooner we are able to help them know to think about themselves in a quality, worthy way, the better their life is going to be. So some of the things that my dad used to do with my sister and I was, it was always one more time, do it again, let's try that again. We'd be sitting and doing different drills. We would be playing tennis, and until we got a certain amount over the net, we weren't allowed to leave. I mean, there were things that he pushed us to be great. A determination. He installed that determination. And I also see that in my daughter, in her determination. You've got to have that determination to move yourself forward, especially if you have a goal like the Olympics, which my daughter has. The other thing that was installed in us was that everybody, there's always somebody better than you. So how are you going to raise your vibration, your level of competition or for yourself? So we always looked at doing something more or better. And one of the things I know for myself is I always spent extra time shooting baskets when I was playing basketball. And when I was running cross country for my school, I was the only girl in an all boys team. And often the boys would take off on me and no one would ever run with me. So when we had our first meet and we went to run, you know, my coach was like, hey, Singleton, don't worry about it. Just do your thing, you know, just have some fun. He kind of blew me off because he didn't see in me what I saw in myself. And so when I came in, my dad always taught us that do not look at the one side or the other side. Don't turn around. You stay focused. You stay focused going front. So I would never turn my head when I was running. I would never turn around to see who was behind me. I always maintained like blinders on the side, and I would run as fast as I could. Well, as I was coming into that finish line on that first meet, I could see the expression on my coach like that, and I thought, oh my God, what's going on? Well, I realized as I was coming through the finish line, there were two people in front of me that finished before me. And as we were looking up, I realized there were two people from the other team, that I was the first person that came across that finish line for our school. And my coach was in awe because he wasn't paying attention. He didn't realize that I felt that I was worthy enough to win the race and do my best. And so I got free lunch for like the rest of that season, because when we got on the bus, he told all the boys, if anybody finishes behind Singleton, you have to buy her lunch. And so I was a motivator for the other people on my team. And so I realized, you know, I already was installed with the doing my best, being great at something. And even though certain things weren't as easy for me, I always felt successful when it came to athletics. Sometimes your children, that's where they feel the most successful. And if you can apply all the principles around playing on a team, that's huge, because when you go out to work, you have to work with many people. If you have to do an individual sport, it's very helpful to be self-motivated. That's what helped me in my professional career as a person in my corporate life. It was important that I had those experiences as an athlete. I'm noticing that my own daughter is seeing herself very accomplished, but humble. Humble was very important to my dad, that we maintain a humbleness. And my daughter, too, maintains a humbleness and encourages her teammates. Even when they may not think they're doing well, she always says, you did great today. And that's the way we treat her, is no matter how bad the meet was that day, she did awesome, because somebody wasn't able to do this today, and maybe somebody wished they could be you. The other thing is, we always have to remember that whatever we start off doing may be our first time, but everybody had to be a first timer. No one starts off in an activity just knowing what to do. So reminding them that they're that special, that they've had to start, they had the courage to do it and move ahead, encourages their positive mindset, their self-esteem, and encourage them to have good self-positive talk. So as a parent, we have to continue to interject into their lives as much positive talk about failure. Failure's okay. It's learning from it. It's contrast. You see what you don't like, so you know what you do like. When you do those things, it will make you improve. I cannot tell you how many things I didn't like, and I'm not doing them again. That's a motivation, right? So think about all those things as you're encouraging your athlete to stay focused, to eat well, plenty of sleep. Jalen has to get as much sleep as she can. And make sure that you're drinking plenty of water. Your body needs that. So thank you for listening today. Thank you for really injecting all those good vibes into your children as they grow into adults. And I just want to tell you that I hope that your children and yourself stay happy, healthy, and fit. I'm Becky Singleton, and I'm just like you.